Good morning, dreamers and non-believers, and if my Jimmy hasn't been pickled, it sure has now. I mean, god dang, this game is so good. It's straight gas, man. Marvel Rivals is what I've been most hyped for quite a while now, and now that it's out and has been out for over a month now, I can kind of say it's kind of good. Let me just say it is unique. And I don't mean it's unique as in a hero shooter, because you sure know we have a few of those. No. I mean unique from other Marvel media, because, you know, over the past decade, Marvel has been shoved down our throat relentlessly. And unlike some other things, which are trying to just mimic the MCU because of how massive that was, this is trying to purposely differentiate itself. I mean, yeah, you can buy cosmetics, but I just mean the base game itself of how these characters are. It feels like they actually put care into the games. I mean, even the voice lines to the other characters, oh my... Playing this game for the first time is like crack. It's a high I will never forget. I mean, this game is so much fun, but the story of this game doesn't start when it released, or when it was first announced, or even when it first started developing. It started years ago, 8 years ago, back in 2016 with the release of Overwatch. I remember playing Overwatch and watching so many Overwatch YouTubers. I mean, I still watch some of them today. And I would play that game relentlessly, trying to get the achievements, to get the pixel and cute sprays, trying to get enough credits to get the golden guns. I mean, this game was amazing when it first released. I know I've already made one video about Overwatch, but I wanted to come back and talk about it a little bit more because Marvel Rivals showed what could have been. I mean, think whichever eldritch horror creature is watching over this realm that this game is actually good. I mean, I could talk about the stellar game design, the voice lines, the game modes, the actual characters themselves and how they feel, their abilities, their team-ups. I mean, even just the inclusion of team-ups whatsoever is amazing. The ability to be Hulk and throw Wolverine, the fact that if you are Iron Man, your teammate is Hulk and you're on the same team, you get a gamma boost is so nice. It's just nice details, you know what I mean? A lot of the things that plagued Overwatch are things that came about from it being around for so long. Like, one of the things that took a really quick nosedive was the characters themselves. I mean, when Overwatch first released, it's what they sold us on, the love of these characters and how unique they were from each other and when you would play against each other. So they needed these new characters to keep pumping out more content. Now, this is a problem Marvel Rivals should not have. There is no way they should mess this up, considering it's Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals. I mean, if they want to add a new character, they just pick which of the 3 categories they want, go to a list, and they can choose from so many. I mean, oh my god. I mean, of course, they're gonna have our fan favorites, like the Fantastic Four, which is coming, but you also have like things like Ghost Rider, Miles Morales, which I think should be in the game, but also really does need to be different from the original Spider-Man, because like, oh my god, with the movie series that's coming out, I mean, I just want Hobie Brown to get more recognition and be more outside of that movie. I want that specific version of Hobie Brown to get more because, oh my god, I love Spider-Punk so much. What was I talking about? The characters. They shouldn't have a problem with this, so that's not something I'm too concerned about at the current moment of which is now. Another thing is just the repetitiveness of the game modes over and over and over again. I found that in the tail end of me playing Overwatch, I found more fun not in competitive or quick play, but in the arcade modes, the ones that either other people would make, or like Mystery Hero, where every time you die you switch heroes. And I want them to add that to Marvel Rivals, that when you die you switch heroes, or maybe it could be like a gun game kind of thing, where like you get killed, you switch characters, and like that would actually be kind of heat. That would be kind of heat. Love to see more arcade modes, like the thing they did with Jeff. That one was unique. I like that. That's really good. But it's gonna need more than just maps. It's gonna need new game modes at some point also. Just something to keep the game fresh and alive, because you can only keep replaying the maps so many times. Something I think could help is taking old maps and just redoing them, maybe adding new things to them, make it look different, maybe be more run down or just straight up refurbished. Like something I was thinking about earlier was, you know, the Asgard map, the push the payload to try to get Stormbreaker back to the tree. What if they just redid that entire map to where it was broken down, and now instead of going up and around this building, you just go straight through it and it's just one straight shot or something like that. I feel like you can do more than just add new maps, but update the old ones to make it new and make it more fresh, because you really can't have the same loop over and over again because it's going to cause fatigue. Now, there is a problem that I personally want to talk about that no game dev could fix. There's things they can do to make it better, but there's no clear issue. And that's the sweats. You know who I'm talking about. The brotherhood of unemployment. The heathens who, if you aren't playing the meta comp, you should uninstall the game because you just want to play Spider-Man. And now, I'm not saying wanting to win is bad. I'm saying most players are casuals who are playing the game to have fun. They might not have the most hours in the game, but they just want to have fun. That's why they're playing quick play. Now, if you want to win and you have that kind of drive, go to competitive, but don't bring that toxicity over to quick play or any other game mode. Because when you bring that kind of toxicity, it makes you not want to play the game. Now, Marvel Rivals has something that Overwatch didn't really have, and that's hindsight. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. They're able to see where Overwatch failed and avoid it, especially in the competitive scene. Now, I'm not saying Overwatch was doomed no matter what. Most of the problems are from Blizzard shooting themselves in the foot. Like I said, I haven't played Overwatch in a long time. I played the game for years, stopped playing it, and then tried it again when Overwatch 2 came out 2 years ago. I was telling this to a friend of mine, and they said, you can't judge a game you haven't touched in 2 years. You should give it another chance. And I said, is that why you keep getting cheated on? I'm just kidding. He plays Overwatch in a big 25. He don't got no bitches. I could talk for hours as to why I don't like Overwatch anymore, but I think it was Overwatch player Shroud who says, I'm not having fun, but I want to go again. I felt like this a lot. I would play for hours just to have 1 or 2 fun games, and I realized that trade-off is pretty much just gambling, just hours of spending my time just to get a little bit of dopamine in return. It just wasn't worth it, so I just stopped playing it. And when Overwatch 2 released, I wanted to love it so bad. Like, there was that optimistic part of me who was like, Overwatch 2 is going to bring back this game and I'm going to love it like I did when I first picked up those controllers all the way back when, and I tried it, and I really tried, but I didn't. It was like a toxic relationship. I wanted to love it, but I just couldn't, because if there's piss in the lemonade, it doesn't matter how much sugar you can add to it. There's still piss in it. There's just something fundamentally wrong with the development of the game, and I couldn't get back into it. Blizzard would promise these things, promise they would improve the game, promise they would add characters that wouldn't just be CC characters, that wouldn't just be really overpowered and then get immediately nerfed, right? But they just couldn't follow through, and I think the straw that really broke the camel's back, that really made Overwatch overly negative on Steam, wasn't Overwatch 2, it was the PvE mode. If you remember, Overwatch sold itself on its characters. I mean, that first cinematic we saw really sold us on it. The love I had for the characters in the game, they were fun, was astonishing. And I know I'm not the only one that felt that way, that their love for the game was attached to their love to the characters. So, a PvE mode is something a lot of people wanted, something that would more for the story of Overwatch and all these things. I remember back in the day, I would constantly watch the YouTube videos that are like, oh, the full story of Overwatch, or all Overwatch cinematics, or Overwatch, or Blizzard, they just bought the studio, maybe they're gonna make a movie and all this other thing, because the story of Overwatch really kept me hooked. So a PvE mode felt natural. So when Overwatch 2 dropped, there was a lot of criticism of the game, of Overwatch 2 being underwhelming, of the over-monetization, of all the other things. But people, not all, but some people held out hope that a PvE mode would bring the full experience and make it worth it. Because you gotta remember, at this point, Overwatch is kind of an unsteady point. There are people only playing for PvP. There's people there for PvP but want the PvE. People who only want the PvE. And I feel like there's a lot of riding on this. So when they said they were pulling back on it, a lot of people were not just disappointed about not getting the PvE, but felt the betrayal of being promised something for it to not be there. And then the whole start of the review bombing came through. Whether it's deserved or not is not my place to say, but a lot of people felt that way because it happened. And now it's left as a shell of it once was. And when I first started this script, I really started it as, I hate Blizzard and I hate Overwatch and I think of Overwatch, the game, as not the wrongdoer, but almost the victim in all this. It started off so strong, but due to poor management, it ended up a shell of its former self. And so those who grew up with this game and have such fond memory of the original game, and to see the lackluster state it's in now, it leaves them feeling betrayed. I know that's how I feel. And now Blizzard is just making desperate attempts to monetize and stay relevant. And I do not want any other game to follow that fate. We've seen so many games here of recent fall to the wayside due to a misunderstanding from companies of what we want to play and what developers want to make. I mean, I know it's been kicked to the dirt at this point and it's being milked dry for content, but Concord came and went because there was just a not understanding of what was wanted. I feel like that's something Marvel Rivals is gonna have to, hopefully, not let over monetization ruin the game, not let corporate greed blindside what that we actually want, the gamers themselves, because they see dollar signs but not realizing that it will kill the game and put it in the dirt. Who knows? Marvel Rivals is only a month old at this point. Maybe in a year from now it will bomb and die like the rest. Like and subscribe to watch thus far, and good night.